Welcome back as we continue our coverage with question time with the President in the National Assembly. The question comes from Ms Nomalungelo Gina of the ANC and deals with the challenges in the basic education sector. She asked if the government was on course in meeting its targets in respect of education being one of the government's 5 priorities. The President considered that challenges remained in a number of provinces despite progress that had been made. He said a government was doing well in providing free education for all.
Over 8 million children are now in no-fee schools. Our school nutrition program feeds more than 8 million children in more than 20,000 schools, increasing their performance in class. We have impressive figures with early childhood development. Grade R enrollment has increased from 300,000 to more than 700,000 between 2003 and 2011. We are therefore on track to meet our target of having 100% coverage for grade R by 2014. Work is ongoing to eradicate mud schools with 8.2 billion rand having been allocated to the program.
The President said the matric pass rate was increasing, but it now needed to improve numeracy and literacy skills at schools. Annual national assessment tests enabled government to objectively assess the health of the education system below grade 12. It showed that the numeracy and literacy levels were low.
We want schools to use the results to produce schools' development plans. Factors we are dealing with include school management, improving teacher training, and increasing the levels of accountability in schools. The schools must also have the tools of the trade, such as workbooks and textbooks. The Department of Basic Education is working on improving the distribution logistics so that books arrive in schools on time next year to avoid the problems that arose in Limpopo and other provinces. As members are aware, the national government has intervened to deal with severe managerial challenges faced by the Limpopo and Eastern Cape education departments. The interventions in the Eastern Cape and Limpopo are focused on a number of issues, including over-expenditure, failure to deal with access teachers, financial and supply chain management, and lack of delivery of learning and teaching materials.
The President said he had received a report on the situation in Limpopo from the Deputy Minister of Education and that he would indicate the way forward in the near future. Mr. Alfred Mponchana of the Inkatha Freedom Party said as far as the IFP was concerned, government was not reaching its targets. He said if progress was being made, why then did South Africa rank so low compared to other countries in Africa?
2 years ago, Mr. President, you promised laptops to teachers. They haven't received those laptops. Incentives were promised to teachers teaching in rural schools. They've yet to receive those incentives. Scholar transport, you still have learners traveling more than 10 kilometers to schools. But most importantly, the process where principals and deputy principals have to sign performance agreements. That process has been held to ransom by unions in RC for 2 years, which has a bearing on the provision of quality education. And just recently, last week in fact, the Global Competitive Report released the result where South Africa is ranked 142nd out of 144 countries in education. I hope the Cabinet has seen this report. If we're meeting our targets, why are we ranked such lowest?
We are dealing with the backlog of the majority of this country that was not provided proper education. And many were not provided education at all. That's what we are dealing with. If you make a comparison between South Africa and countries that never experienced apartheid, again is a comparison that has not been looked at prudently. Because you can't compare the problems of South Africa to countries that have been there all the time when we had to fight the monster of apartheid in the first instance and change the education system so that we can begin to catch up to those countries. These are matters you need to bear in mind if you have to pose the question. Because you pose the question as if we started on the same line with these countries. We didn't. We just started 18 years ago. We believe we are making very good progress. With regards to the issue of the unions, once again, I don't know how people appreciate these things. Because once you adopt the system of democracy, the workers too have their democracies. And they have got a constitutional right to make demands. They have a constitutional right to strike. There's nothing untoward here that you don't know what is happening. Because we have got to find democratic ways to solve the problems between the department and the unions. If we decided to say we don't care about the unions, we are doing what we are doing, you would say this government is causing chaos in the country. Or you will call us dictators as well. We have got to adhere to principles, persuasion, negotiate. That is what democracy demands, unfortunately.
We come back to a question on progress in education after the break. Don't go away.